growing up, all my influences of being someone who grew up in India, being exposed to multicultures, multi-faiths, of growing up in a family that was very accepting, of personally, you know, being that kind of person. I think you're just either born that way, but in India we celebrate every festival with just as much joy. I lived through the 1984 riots, which were my religion. I belong to the Sikh religion. We were targeted for no reason, and I remember as a child trying to understand. I mean, why? How did we become different from being Indian? How did we suddenly become being called a minority or Sikh? So all of that stuff, a lot of it is in our genetic makeup. Like when I go to Pakistan, I went to Pakistan and I crossed the border and I started to weep and I couldn't understand why I was weeping, but that was obviously because all the stories I've heard from my grandparents, because a lot of us from the north of India have migrated from Pakistan at the time of partition. Stories I've heard from my grandparents were only of happiness. But I realized it was in my genes. I'd never been to Pakistan. It's in your genes to feel a connect with your brother or your sister or someone that you have a history with. So I think for me personally, this project of acceptance is everything I believe in. It is what I want to say. And for a long time I didn't sing because I said I want to sing when I have something to say. So now I'm going to let Ehsan talk because I get emotional.
Well, I'm a Muslim guy. The Sufi Gospel Project, after joining the Sufi Gospel Project, it made me believe in every religion, which is the most beautiful thing I realized I have found in this project. And the humanity comes first of all. Humanity, the to be a good human being, it comes first of all. The Sufi Gospel Project is aim for me to be a good human, to be a very good human being, and through my music, through my instrument, I'm trying to make others to believe in that.
That's wonderful.
This is the thing that we want to say, that there is no differences between, between human beings. There are no differences between human beings, and you know, everyone's try to find the way to reach God. So whatever way you choose, it ends with the God's. But the thing is, the God is only one, whatever way you take. So this is what we want to, tell people, that there are no differences between human beings.
That's a wonderful message. And for you, gentlemen?
I'm the Catholic, and I follow Christianity. I'm a Roman Catholic. But what I find, I would like to make it in a short sentence, we should all be for one, and one should be for all.
Yes.
All means like the whole universe should be for one. Maybe for you, we should help you, and that you is that one about, and that one is for all. Then you should also work towards all humanity. That is the message I want to give everybody. So that if we follow this through music, then the world will be a much happier place, and there won't be sorrows anymore.
Absolutely. And would you like to add?
Actually, I'm an Hindu, so Sufi means a good person. Sufi. But in India, people think that Sufism in only in Muslims.
Islam, yeah.
It's Islam. But for my opinion, it's like everywhere, Sufism.
But Sufism does mean an acceptance of all humanity. And that's why, much as it was a buzzword, and I was a bit worried when we were going to title the project, call it Sufi Gospel, because at no point did I want it to be commercial or, oh great, that's the word that'll be sellable or saleable. I used to sing gospel, and everyone would say, but you belong to the Sikh religion, why do you sing Christian music? And I said, I should be able to call out to God in any way or any religion, any language. I mean, free from religion, in fact, not any religion, but free from religion in any language that I see fit, right? If I speak to him in English, if I speak to him in gibberish, it's my way of reaching out to him. And so we used to get that, and we'd get a lot of flack, and I'm sure Alex got flack for how come the Sikh girl sings gospel with you. But the reason we called it the Sufi Gospel Project was it was a chance meeting where we got invited to sing gospel music at a seemingly Islamic space, a shrine of a Sufi saint. And they said, will you come and sing gospel? And I was so moved by that invitation I just thought this was the universe coming together. A Sikh girl who sings Christian music is being invited to a seemingly Islamic space to sing. So that's when Ehsan joined us, and then Aman and Ritesh joined us subsequently. And the idea that it sort of came together when we all came together, and the sort of blend happened so seamlessly that we could sing a gospel piece that went seamlessly into a Sufi verse, that went seamlessly back into gospel or even into bhakti or into poetry. Essentially, that's how the Sufi Gospel Project was created. So it took poetry, prayer, and music from different faiths, different beliefs, different languages, puts it together to try and create one voice. And with the simple understanding that eventually, whilst you and I may have our own truths and each truth is just as valid, there is eventually one truth. So that's where the music stemmed from, and as we went along, we found resonances everywhere. So it wasn't, and that was the great thing about the Sufi Gospel Project for us personally. It freed us. Like Ehsan said, one of the things he realized that he could accept all the other religions and find beauty in them. It freed us from labels. I've always been very anti-label, so it freed us from labels of people wanting to box us and put us in a particular space. One of the reasons he says they play instruments that are a traditional instrument, whether it's Aman or Ehsan or even Alex, who plays, who's essentially a jazz pianist. He plays now with Indian pieces and gospel. Everybody is in some ways understanding that they need to break out of the little mold or the little walls that we create around us, and also make people realize that everything you see isn't necessarily how it needs to be. You know, I mean, what can and what should be, like, forget all of that, just free yourself. And it's an all-inclusive project, so even when we present it to an audience, we really do believe that they're part of us. When we're performing, one of the first things we say is thank you for being a part of the Sufi Gospel Project. It's equality, brotherhood, oneness, togetherness. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's wonderful. And I think that's why certainly I think the crowds at Jazz in the Lake really appreciated your music, because, a lot of feedback I got was, it was just so about everybody. It wasn't just about one sort of group of people. So it's wonderful. And my next question was going to be, what sort of criticism do you get about this combining of Eastern and Western music, and how do you deal with it?
Well, touch wood. We have to say we've been very lucky. Touch wood, actually. We have to say, touch wood. We've been quite lucky. We've been very blessed. We've not had too many people say too much negative stuff. I think perhaps some of the few negative things we may have heard is, I came expecting not to like it, but I have to say you changed my mind, which is actually not negative. It's great. One or two people say, oh, Sonam, we prefer it when you sing Indian, or someone says, I prefer it when you sing Western. That's fine. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and that's okay. That there's a part of the music that you liked. And honestly, if we were doing something that everyone liked, it would be wrong. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but we've been lucky. We've had, and I think that even when people come for our concerts, something that someone can relate to, and that's it. If you can, and I mean, I think one of the things we all talk about is, if we do this with honesty, then whether you like the music or not, something is going to touch you and something is going to reach you, and that's all we want. You can go away with whatever you make of it and whatever you want to take back of it. It can make you feel elated, it can make you feel overwhelmed, it can, whatever. It can make you feel, yeah, okay, I understand what they're saying, but I don't think you'll ignore it. That's the great thing. I mean, because we're talking about you. We're not talking about me.
Absolutely.
So that's what it is.
Absolutely. And tell me, so you're performing at Aldo's Jazz Festival on Sunday.
And at the Wits Theatre as well.
At the Wits Theatre, yes. So tell me, do you have anyone who hasn't seen the Sufi Gospel Project before? Anything you want to say to them, an encouragement, anything they can expect, or a message you'd like to give them? We'd love to put it on Facebook so we can get all the crowds down there on Sunday.
Does anyone have something clever they want to come up with?
Do you want to think about it for a minute?
We're not into being clever. That's the great thing. I think it's about being, we don't hard sell on Facebook, on YouTube. It's quite simply, it's prayer, poetry, and music that transcend the barriers of religion and language. It's utterances in one voice, the voice of faith. And if you haven't heard it, come and hear what we have to say. That's all we ask of you. It's simple.
Wonderful. And last